Das ist cool.
Wo ist denn klar?
Ja, aber wir sind
Was zu essen? Oh ja. Ein harter Kampf da unten geworden. So, Vögel hier gegen die Finger mit allem. Gehältst das da mal drin?
Ja, 2 Fotos.
Und das Roll-Up. Hast du dein Roll-Up? Das mache ich schon auch gleich. Ja, die ist schon Essenz.
Kannst du kurz ein Stück zur Seite? Okay.
Ich mach einfach nur.
You're away, type thing.
Aber ich habe jemanden.
With Peter Davison, and the funny thing is, it's some kind of family meeting here because Ty is here, David is here. So how is it for you being this time in Germany?
Well, I'm very pleased to be here in Germany. I think I've been here actually more than David or Ty, so I feel much more at home. Although I don't speak a word of the language, I'm really sorry. I'm one of those awful British people who did not learn German at school. But people have been wonderfully welcoming, and of course, most people do speak English, which saves our lives and enables us to feel very welcome here.
How would you describe the success of the group, because it's going on for so many years?
Well, I suppose it helps that they came up with the brilliant idea of regeneration, which means that you don't have to have one actor who survives for 40, 50 years or something like that. So once William Hartnell left, Patrick Troughton took over, and they came up with this idea of regeneration. It meant you could have successive doctors, you could have different types of doctors playing the part. and so I think that's obviously the fundamental thing. But also there was something just brilliant, and who can analyse what it was that meant that the programme was kept alive. There was an endless possibility for storytelling in the past, in the future, in other galaxies, and all those things were taken advantage of. And that's one great thing about science fiction, is it almost is limitless in what you can show.
And you've been here a couple of times in Germany. How would you describe the love for Doctor Who of the German fans?
Well, first of all, the initial love or their welcoming for me was actually not for Doctor Who. It was for a series that I did many years ago called All Creatures Great and Small, which I think translated was something like The Men Who Love Animals or something like that. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it wasn't called All Creatures Great and Small. But apparently it was very, very popular in Germany, and it was dubbed over here. And you really couldn't tell that it wasn't me speaking German. And I also have met the person. I think the person who did me as Tristan in All Creatures also did me as in Doctor Who, and did many of the other Doctors in Doctor Who as well. And I actually met him at the very first convention I did in Germany. And so he is a unique source of the popularity of both those shows. Doctor Who, I really wasn't aware of the fandom in Doctor Who because I didn't even know that it played initially in Germany. But I suppose, there are many similarities between British people and German people. We're not that far apart, and so I think that's part of maybe why the program it appeals to people over here.
Okay. Did you have maybe also a very nice memory from the set during the shooting of Doctor Who?
Oh yeah,
Some funny things?
We had a great time making it. It was, I think, I like working on a kind of in an ensemble atmosphere, and I think that the way we made it was always rushed. It was always blind panic, but we also had a lot of fun doing it. And obviously things would go wrong. We had an instance where a horse was meant to stop outside of a church lich gate and decided that it wasn't going to stop, it would just go straight through and demolish the entire church gate. But it just seemed to add to the whole thrill of doing the program. So yeah, things went wrong. There was lots of laughter. There was also blind panic when the clock ran out and they turned off the lights in the studios. But overall, it was a tremendous experience.
Okay, thank you so much.
Einmal kurz zur Seite, bitte. Ja, sorry.
Oh, did you? Whose TARDIS was it? All right. Okay. The inside different from my outside side as well. Okay. Thank you. Hello. Yes. Oh right, is that your brick? That's there on your shoulder. That's what they look like now, do they? Mine look like porridge, Scotch porridge. No. I've tried porridge, yes.
Timo.
Eventually, yes. When they stop talking, we stop talking.
Picture of Peter, he's just standing there.
Doctor Who.
Oh, it's good. I think is the answer. It's great to do that. Funnily enough, my Doctor Who, I think, was the first to be shown in Germany, way back, just before the wall fell down. And because I came over to Berlin for a big celebration of it being shown. And the guy who did my voice, who I've met, sounded just like me speaking German. But what was interesting, my companion Sophie, gave her a very butch voice, and Sophie was a gentle voice. But they gave Sophie's German voice was butcher than my German voice. That was fun.
And how would you describe the success of Doctor Who? Because it's a science fiction show that lasts for the longest time. So, what would you say is the success of Doctor Who?
Well, I've got this theory. See, they say that under the sun there's only 5 stories that have been told, and humankind's genius is to take these 5 stories and retell them for our entertainment. And one of those stories is someone coming from outside the world, taking on the human form and fighting against evil. And that's what Doctor Who does. That's what Superman does. And various religions have got people who did the same thing.
And I think
longevity.
You learned a little bit German in the last years, because I hear you speaking German. So, what did you know in German? How good is your German?
Not that great. I toured Germany way back in the 70s in a very visual show, but there was one sketch we did where you needed a punchline, and the punchline is Ich bin nicht betrunken, ich bin ein Ablenkungsmanöver, damit die anderen verschwinden können. That means I'm not drunk, I'm only the decoy while the others get away. That's my only German. It hasn't come in too handy in the years since, except for Ich bin nicht betrunken.
Great. And did you have maybe a favorite moment with the film that you can share with us? Some emotional things during the last years?
Yes. I mean, the thing is about Doctor Who, all over the world, you get this same story, and it's a very heartwarming story of how people share it with loved ones, fathers, grandmothers, aunties, uncles, dogs, cats even, and it means so much to them. It means much more than the normal program. And also, some people, it gets them through things. I mean, I've met people who said that they were suicidal, but because of their love for Doctor Who, they knew it was coming up that Saturday, so they kind of put off trying to. But anyway, it took them through a dark journey in their lives. Sorry, it was a bit distracting with all that going on in the background.
Great. And my last question, did you have maybe a favorite set memory during the shooting of Doctor Who? Some funny things that happen behind the cameras that we don't see on screen?
Well, yes, there was a time. Well, there was one where I was a superhero for real. We were filming inside a studio, and my companion Sophie Aldred, playing Ace, was inside a glass tube, and water was filling up, and it was supposed. Suddenly, I noticed the glass started to bow like that, and I realised she was in tons of water. It was going to split, and she'd be cut to pieces. So I bellowed to get her out, and they put their hands down and pulled her out just as the water broke through the glass and flooded the studio. That was fun.
Thanks for you being in Germany and meeting all, after these long years, all the German fans which are now in the second generation.
I absolutely love coming to Germany. I've had a really great time. This is an amazing location. I just think it's so beautiful. I've been to Germany before, and the Doctor Who fans in Germany are really welcoming. We have a great time. So I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Just good to hear. But would you say, and what is the secret of Doctor Who? Because it's the longest running science fiction television show, and it's always a big success now after all these years. What would you say? What is the secret of Doctor Who? Why is it so successful?
I'm not entirely sure why Doctor Who is so successful. I just know that it is. I think that part of it is that it allows for a lot of different interpretations. I think that the values in the show are good. It's about, people being kind and helpful to each other, but it's also intensely imaginative. So, it's not about the person who's the best, at punching or the best at shooting. It's about real sort of human, funnily enough, it's about emotional intelligence and skills and it's about taking this really imaginative look at how the world could be and how the universe might be. And it's inspired a lot of creative people over the years, a lot of scientists as well.
Okay. And did you have maybe a favorite moment during the shooting of Doctor Who? If you're looking back at the time behind the scenes, was there any weird thing, any funny thing that happened behind the cameras?
Well, some of my favourite moments were when I came back after 35 years, not being in front of a camera, and to be treated like we were treated so royally, Sophie Aldred and I, and they were trying to keep it from the fans that we were the two. They knew that somebody was coming back, but they didn't know who, and they were trying to find out. And we'd turn up on location, and wardrobe would have these huge cloaks over our heads, umbrellas over our heads, whether it was raining or not. We wore big sunglasses, and we would creep into the location wherever we were going. So that was quite funny.
Okay. And did you have maybe also a memorable moment with a fan? Maybe some emotional things. Maybe you got some nice letters from them or some presents, something that is really heartwarming.
Well, there are a lot of people who write to you and tell you about how much Doctor Who has meant to you. Quite a few people tell you that they're autistic and they have problems relating to people, and that being part of the Doctor Who community has been hugely important to them. I know that when I had cancer, my Doctor Who, Peter Davison, came down and said, "What can I do?" And the Doctor Who team rallied round me. I was running a youth arts charity, and they rallied round me and helped me with fundraising at a time when I couldn't really fundraise because I wasn't well enough. And those kinds of things are just really important. And it is a family, you know, the actors who work on it regard it as a family. We talk about the Doctor Who family, and that's true. It is a Doctor Who family. And it's very interesting, when I was doing those fundraisers just after I'd been ill, I had various friends who drove me, and they were always impressed by the atmosphere at the Doctor Who fan conventions, because they thought that they were very welcoming, and that people were very friendly, and people helped each other. And I think those are qualities that we're not finding in the wider world at the moment, and are very important for all of us. It is to find a sense of community, and one that is inclusive and celebrates a wide range of you know, neurodiversity, sexuality, gender, all of those kinds of things. It's a very wide, open, accepting community, and I think that's important.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
And have a great time in Germany.